Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
And I'm Pepper.
And what are we doing today, Peppa?
We're giving our first impressions of Book It, the pro wrestling promoter card game.
Ooh. So this one is definitely based on a WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor type pro wrestling theme.
Yes.
Is kind of what it is, or like booking the shows to those different ones.
Not really wrestling, not the
Right.
act of wrestling, the act
Right.
of putting on a wrestling show.
Right, putting together the different people that are going to be wrestling, picking a specific venue, putting out the dirt sheets on your opponents, and also trying to get some. What was the other thing called? Good stuff.
I
Let's
forget
see here.
exactly what that was.
Special announcements.
Yes.
So some things that could be good for your promotion, and then trying to make all that money and prestige. What the wrestling business is all about, obviously. But no, this is one. Well, this is one that was on my list, I believe.
Yes.
Games. The last few of these first impressions that we've done, I don't know when they're going to come out in order, but the last few have been games that were on my top 10 wish list games from before 2020. And this one was on that list. I don't remember what it ended up being, what number.
Yeah, I
but,
forget.
you'll have to go check that out to find out.
Yeah, we don't want to give them all the
We
information.
can't give them that.
Go check it out
And you're
yourself.
gonna have to check the other videos out to see which other videos I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But no, this one was one mainly based
There's
around
gonna
the
be someone
theme.
out there trying to connect all the dots.
They're gonna try to figure it all out. Try to have their list put together beforehand of their guessing of my top 10. But no, this one was basically the main reason I wanted this one was more along the lines of the theme versus anything else, because this one's really the only one that
yeah.
well, I think there's like a I don't know, Dice Masters or something.
I think
some
there's
sort of
something
dice,
that kind of, they
one of those
they release
battle type.
they release a wrestling kind of pack type of thing.
Right. So yeah, I think there's been some of those, but outside of that, there's not really too many games I saw out there that were wrestling themed that were
No,
still
not really.
like considered good or decent. But this one was one that was pretty decently received. I think it was kind of a consensus that it may not be the greatest game, but it definitely gives you that feeling if you're looking for that type of theme.
Yeah.
So I had decent expectations coming into this one. I didn't expect to be like blown away and be like, wow, this is an amazing card game, and this would work for any theme or any, if
yeah.
it had just been trading, whatever, or, a lot of things that are used in board games or some fantasy type thing.
Yeah.
If it would work as well. I didn't expect that, but
Yeah.
middle of the road expectations.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the theme is definitely the hook here for us, and kind of if you're a wrestling fan and you've seen the cover, you can see there's a few different kind of Easter eggs and nods to certain superstars in the business. A lot of which we know, and some of which we aren't familiar with. We primarily watch WWE, but yeah, it's pretty cool to kind of see them and the funny names, twists on their names that they give them. Yeah.
So as not to go directly with names that
Yes.
that come from the business, but most of the time, if you're aware of who they are, you kind of get where they're going
Yeah.
with the different names. But
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the heart of the game is kind of those Easter eggs. Yeah.
Yeah, and definitely when we got into playing the game, you could not only those cards, but then like some of the a lot of the locations seemed like locations that you always hear on
yeah.
TV that they're the locations that they're at. Some of the big ones, and then also like the different dirt sheets and stuff and things like that. Feels sort of like maybe what could happen in the wrestling world, but
Yeah.
maybe a little over the top on that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah, I think, special announcements. I think there's a couple of those with some illustrations that look familiar to some moments you're familiar with wrestling. But yeah, I think you can tell this was definitely made by someone who enjoys professional wrestling.
yeah, it's some of that.
It's
Yeah,
not just some big company that just slapped on a theme.
right. Yeah, this looks like it could potentially be a game that was like almost a mass market type game where they were trying to. Yeah, obviously, if that was the case, they probably would probably maybe get the rights to
Yeah.
use the actual names and
Yeah.
stuff, but then they probably wouldn't have ones from different promotions. I would
true,
guess.
true.
I would guess they'd all come from a certain WWE company. I would guess it'd be WWE
Yeah.
if they did it. But yeah, it looks like it could be teetering on that. But once you get into playing it, you know that that's not the case. Because just gonna go into the actual gameplay. It's pretty solid. You're pretty much going through somewhat draft buying the different superstars based on what type of show you're trying to run. In my case, I had like more of the sports entertainment, just kind of the WWE. I was looking for all those types of wrestlers, and you were looking for the
Lucha Libre.
wrestler.
Yep.
So there's like was it 4 different colors?
I think 4 different colors, each with a unique style fitted to certain promotions. Which, like you had the blue sports entertainers.
And yours, I think, were
yellow.
yellow.
Yep.
And then I think there were like brawlers and then strong style.
Yep.
But yeah, it was interesting how you were looking to put together, the similar types of people, which makes sense. I think in a wrestling match, you don't want people that have 2 totally different styles that don't mesh well together. You can definitely see that sometimes in wrestling matches, but you can definitely tell if you're a fan of wrestling when 2 people have somewhat similar styles and they just really work well together.
Yeah. Chemistry.
Yeah. So it definitely thematically makes sense that you'd be getting 2 similar types of wrestlers, trying to put them together. And then in your deck you have like these jobbers, so kind of the guys that typically get beat from week to week. I think they're called like the local talent
locals.
or whatever.
Yep.
You can and eventually upgrade those to journeymen, but you'll always have those 6.
Yep.
So, and then during a show, you're trying to put on 5 matches, two-person matches. So you're trying to get 10 cards. So you're drafting those wrestlers, adding them to that deck, and then you'll eventually shuffle whatever you end up having, and then drawing 6 of those, and then having to put on matches based on that. And then if you're getting those colors paired up, then you can draw more cards.
Yep.
Otherwise, once you run out of your hand of cards, you just start drawing, and the rest of the matches are just made based on what's left in your deck.
Yes. That's one thing where it's like if you just don't draw any of the same color, that lets you draw the extra cards, then you just could be kind of screwed. But I guess if you don't focus on that and maybe spend money that you didn't want to spend just trying to get people of the same color, you can just get others that will be able to put on good matches together. Whereas, like, that helps you draw your cards, but they also each have kind of a star power, which will get you money, and each have kind of their work rate or whatever, how good they are in the ring, which will help you produce continual income from round to round, as well as points as well. So, I mean, that'd be interesting. I know I did it. I had to kind of do it because I had to make up some ground, so I tried to put on as many matches as possible. So I just kind of bought any color that I could find for a decent price with good stats that they would have and try to match them up, which I think can work too. You don't need the colors, and if you can really fill your deck with quite a few, I could see that not being as big of a deal, having to draw off of the top.
Yeah, if you could definitely get as many as you possibly could to match in those types of stats or very close, you're more likely to get the bonuses based on matching just those. Maybe, like you said, not the colors, but being able to match those as well. Because it's 3 different ways of matching. I do like that, so it gives you a few more options of, even if they don't match colors, you can still kind of get a little bit of a bonus if
Yep.
you put certain ones together. I like that it gives you those multiple options. And yeah, I guess another thing, an interesting thing, is that once you use your non-local jobbers or journeymen, they go back into
They are
the deck.
independent.
They're independent contractors. But they go back inside the deck, and you'll reshuffle that the next time. So they could potentially be on the other person's show the next week, pretty much, if they ended up buying them or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
But that can make for some, I guess, what do you think of that? Would you, now that you've played, would you have rather some of them stayed in your deck, or had them stay in your deck pretty much the whole game once you bought them? Or do you like the going out and getting new ones each time?
With how the rest of the game is structured, I think this works. Because it's not like you pull the ones that you didn't pull
Right,
to make
right, yeah.
matches.
If
You get to keep the ones that you didn't use. So if you had to remove those, that would be quite punishing. But thankfully, you get to keep those, which I don't know if that works thematically. It's like, oh, we're going to use you at this show.
Well, yeah,
Never
they
mind,
just-
you're coming with us to Orlando.
They just put the advertising up. We're going to have this guy next week.
But yeah, I think it works here. But it did get me thinking if we could have a legacy version of this game going through kind of a year of wrestling coming to a big show, the old WM WrestleMania, or whatever name they would have to come up with. I thought that'd be interesting to kind of have a little more, I guess, long-term booking,
Right.
as you might call it.
Right. Yeah. I that would actually be pretty fun with this. I think. Yeah. If you did a whole year round, I think you'd have to adjust a few things on it for sure.
I think so.
But yeah, that'd be really interesting. Or else, yeah, if you were able to maybe sign 1 or 2 or whatever that you keep each
And
time.
there
or
are a
something.
couple special announcements that help you keep people from round to round. I think I got one that helped me, or just let me keep one that I used in a match for another show.
Yeah, so yeah, there's definitely those nice benefits. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that would work if you did do some legacy type version, have bigger shows that maybe are more meaningful or something. But,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, rating wise, what do you give this one?
I'm gonna give this one an 8. I think it delivers pretty much everything I wanted it to deliver. I didn't think it would be a top game for me. I thought it'd be a little simpler card game, but a solid card game with a great theme that I love, and this is exactly that.
Yeah, I give it a 7.5. I feel very, very similar to the way you do. If you're going into this looking for something like brand new mechanic or mechanism wise, or something that's really great that way, I think you'll probably be disappointed. Not gonna lie on that, but I think for what it's trying to do, the theme definitely comes through for sure. So if you're a wrestling fan, I would definitely highly recommend looking into this one and seeing if it sounds like something you'd like. And I still think it's actually the mechanisms in the game actually work even better than I would have originally expected. I mean, I think it brings a few interesting things to the table. I think the game maybe goes on a little bit too long for what it is, though.
Yeah. But I think that it kind of has to get your engine going to a point where it feels like the time to stop.
Yeah, I would agree. And I did like I tried to create a little bit of a long-term story. The first 2 rounds, I had 2 wrestlers that I had bought and then lost and bought again, and had them face off 2 weeks in a row, but I could not. I ended up getting them a 3rd time, but I had them face off against
the third
someone
time,
else.
There was one of them face up, and you bought him, and he was immediately replaced with the other one, chasing after him. You get back here!
But yeah, then I should have just done the rubber match there and done the 3rd match, but instead I thought, well, I've gotten them 3 times in a row, I'll probably get them again. So I had them face off against their, I think one I just said it was their spouse, and then the other one was their best friend or something that they both battled. But then I was not able to get them again, so I was not able to get that final third match, which was a little bit disappointing, I have to say. I was trying to build a little bit of a story. So I think, yeah, if you're looking for that type of game where you can kind of have extra fun at it with it and maybe make your own stories.
Yeah,
story
I feel like
things.
kind of like the general manager mode in the old wrestling games that we used to play. I think that could be really cool for a more in-depth experience.
Yeah.
But as it is, really enjoy it, and it does what it does great.
Yeah, so if you're a wrestling fan, definitely check this one out. And that is Book It, the Pro Wrestling Promoter Card Game. It's a long name. I just call it Book It from now on. But otherwise, if you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. And also subscribe if you want to see future first impressions on games. But yeah, that's everything we got for you this time. We'll hope to see you next time. And as always, don't forget to
Keep on nibbling.
on our content.